Hey, it's Swank Ivy with another Letters to an Asexual. Today, we are going to talk about that strange phenomenon where someone says, I don't see it. How are you oppressed? How is anybody ever hurting you over this? When you talk about being asexual. And then the opposite, sometimes from the same people, sounds like, well, if you're getting harassed, you probably just need to grow a thicker skin. You just need to deal with it. It can't be that bad. And if you're speaking out about this, well, maybe you're not actually a good representative for being an activist on this subject if you can't take a little abuse. What you will note from this is that no matter what we do, it's wrong. And what you can also take home from that revelation is that it's not you. It's not a failure on your part that is causing people who talk like this to not accept you. It's not about figuring out the exact right thing to say, because at the end of the day, people who talk like this or believe like this or are always going to blame you for your reaction to being harassed or not harassed in their mind is always going to be the wrong thing. It's always going to be on you. It's always going to be on how you react rather than how other people don't actually have their minds open to learn about this. So I'm going to read for you a post that someone made quite a long time ago that was entitled, Seriously, Do Asexuals and Demisexuals Actually Get Harassed? I really don't understand. I mean, I'm not saying no one's ever gotten some heat for being uninterested in sex, or the waiting until I fall in love people, because obviously people poke fun and mock stuff like that, but that's kind of a long shot from harassment or oppression. Last time I checked, it's not like these people couldn't vote or marry. I mean, unless they're gay asexuals, whatever. I just don't think these are two more different oppressed groups that need to feel the LGBTQ spotlight. At the time this was posted, I responded directly to it, and then I had a follow-up reflection about it, and I will share them both with you. This was my direct response. Quoting and reframing, I said, I don't get it, and I don't personally see it since I'm not in the affected population, so I don't believe it is happening, is really a kind of shitty thing to say to anyone. Especially since so many people seem to think that when we're talking about ourselves and searching for acceptance and understanding, what we really want is to be regarded as so different, LOLs! Which, of course, is an awesome excuse to not listen to what we are telling you about our experiences. You're not oppressed, shut up, and stop making me look at you, is what I see here. If you don't get this particular kind of shit in life, you're a whiner who's being offensive by pretending your life is hard, is what I see here. I really hope you wrote this because you want to understand. So if you do, please watch my video, Asexual Bingo. Then keep in mind that every single one of the featured comments has been said to me, in person, in some form, though usually not as vulgarly. The consistent message is that I don't know myself, am not qualified to describe myself, am obligated to seek out sexual experiences I don't want enough times to satisfy some unseen decision maker that I've done it enough to be sure. In short, the consistent message is that other people are in charge of what I'm supposed to feel. And if I bring up how I actually do feel, I will get aggressively mocked, pursued, erased, and, the best, made fun of for claiming it's happening. And in case you misinterpret my statement as, I have sad feelings because sometimes people say bad things to me, I'm saying this was said to me consistently as I was growing up, as I was trying to figure out how I related to the world, and while my mind was shaping. Attitudes like, shut up and ignore them, are what enables bullies by saying we're not reacting correctly to the harassment, instead of saying bullies shouldn't bully. If you say we don't get harassed, and then if we show you we do, you laugh and call us whiners who need to grow a thicker skin, do people actually need to start dying before you consider it a problem? Then I followed up with my reflection, which I entitled, On Choosing to Mock Instead of Research. Recently, Tumblr blogger, their URL, wrote this, And I quoted the same one that I read you earlier. Just the latest post I've seen, where someone opens by saying, "I don't get this," and then goes on to try to paint asexual people as folks who don't actually deserve acknowledgement for their issues. Notice how this goes immediately into, "You're not harassed, you're not oppressed, and your rights aren't taken away," suggesting that A, harassment and oppression and rights denial are all the same thing, and B, that us wanting to share and find support for our own issues is offensive or ridiculous if we don't have it as bad as someone else, as so judged by a person outside the equation, of course. People. Yes, asexual people get harassed. And for most of us, it has been more than just terrible words said to us by everyone from strangers to the people who were supposed to love us most. We are taught that because we don't feel this very basic, very central facet of the human experience, we are either sick or lying. And just being told so is very different from having the entirety of society weave that message into its master narrative. Mocking this, saying it can't be hard to live as an asexual person in a world full of compulsory sexuality, is really ignorant and wrong. This old post by Sciatrix, "How Inclusivity Fails on Asexuality," which I can link in the info box, is a good argument for why asexual people could be considered an oppressed class. But regardless of whether you feel that the way in which we're rendered invisible and get attacked for it if we try to become visible actually constitutes oppression, none of us are saying it is as bad or comparable to other forms of oppression. That's because most of us aren't interested in fighting for the gold in the oppression Olympics. But either way, if your first reaction to us saying we have problems is, "Shut up, you do not, someone else has this problem and I think it's worse," then you have missed the point. Oh, and you've contributed to the invisibility issue we're complaining about. What I don't understand, original poster, is why you open by declaring your ignorance to the world, "I really don't understand," and then choose to make a post about exactly how very little you get it, while painting us as people whose desire for visibility is unreasonable, because you perceive there is a limited amount of LGBTQ spotlight that we are unfairly usurping if we think our problems warrant discussion. If you really don't understand, wouldn't the best way to combat your ignorance be research, thought, attempt to understand? Do you have any idea how many asexual education blogs there are out there? How many friendly asexual people are open to answering your questions? I'll answer that. It's a lot. A lot of people are happy to help you understand, as long as you don't behave as though that person exists to educate you, and as long as you try to keep your questions in the general when talking to an individual you don't know. E.g., "Do you masturbate?" is an uncomfortable question. "Do asexual people masturbate?" is much better as long as the person has indicated openness to such things. Seriously, read their blogs, browse the tags, take note of the fact that articles, studies, and documentary movies have been made on this subject, because apparently not everyone thinks we're as deserving of invisibility as you, who want us out of the spotlight, apparently do. When you open a blog post with, "I don't understand," when your real motive is to write a blog post about how ridiculous people who expect you to try are, that's when you should check yourself. Think for a second. What are you getting out of this? What is it to you if you don't get what others are going through, and your first reaction is to paint their complaints as unjustified? Then think what it is for them. You're yet another person piling on, telling them what their world is and should be. What do you get out of it? What satisfies you about telling an entire community that it would be better if they'd stop trying to get attention since they really don't deserve it? If you open with, "I don't understand," but you don't actually want to understand, it's probably you who should get off the stage. So that's what I have to say about that, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.